Libra, welcome to your astrology reading for the month of February. And so as I'm getting into this Aquarius energy, because there is a ton of it happening during the month of February, it's a good idea to listen to your sun, your moon, and your rising sign. And so your sun sign is the one that you're most familiar with. That is how you express yourself. It is really what your soul needs in this lifetime in order to feel fulfilled. Your rising sign is your first house. It is your ascendant. It is, so if you're pulling your birth chart, that's what you're looking for. It's how other people perceive you. And your moon sign is really how you process everything on an emotional level. And so really with that in mind, this Aquarius energy is going to mostly impact your fifth house. There's going to be connections all throughout with other houses, nearby houses, and we've got like full moons, new moons, and everything else. But the fifth house here represents children, short-term relationships, hobbies, passions. It's really those things that you do outside of work for pleasure. And so keep that in mind as we go through. It's also in the sign of Aquarius. So when it comes to Aquarius, this is liberation, this is change, this is outside of the box thinking. So when it comes to all of these different topics, there might be things that are just rapidly changing for you. And you would have already picked up on this because the sun and Pluto both entered Aquarius back on January 20th. And so Pluto is going to be here mostly for about 20 years. And so March of 2023, I think is when it started, and it's 2043 when it moves on. And so right now we're starting the month with just the Pluto and Sun in Aquarius, but then on the 5th, Mercury enters the mix. So on February 5th at 12:10 a.m. Eastern time, so Pacific the night before, all three of these planets will now be in this liberating rebel type of energy. And so this is about breaking down structures. This is transformation. These are things that don't work for you anymore. And so right away, Mercury conjunct Pluto at 0 degrees. Mercury is information, it's communication, it's how you process things. There's like a real understanding happening right now as to why things are going in a certain direction or why things need to happen in a certain way, because there's obstacles that are being removed from your life that you probably didn't even realize were there. And so that's what this energy is all about. It's also a sudden energy. Pluto says, why hold on to it? And Aquarius says, yeah, there's no reason to. Let's just remove it from the mix. And so just keep that in mind, that energy may not feel the most comfortable at times, but there is a reason for it being there. Mercury is also going to be conjunct Mars, but Mars is in a different sign, which means it's operating a different house, if I can get the words out. And so Mercury is sitting in this house of like pleasure, if you think of it that way. Mars is sitting in your 4th house, which is occupied by Capricorn. And so Mars is the planet of action in your home life. Capricorn is all about structure. And so Mercury conjunct Mars. What changes do you need to make in your home life in order to make more time for your pleasure pursuits? Is there something here that needs to be modified? Is there a structure that you put in place that just doesn't work for you anymore? Or maybe just needs to be modified, because that is that transformation energy connected to Mercury. And it's more of like the idea at this point, and it's really thinking about things, processing information, understanding what needs to happen next. That's what's happening here. At the same time, we have Mercury square Jupiter in Taurus. And so we've got this connection between your house of pleasure, and we have Jupiter in Taurus, which is sitting in your 8th house. The 8th house is a house of transformation. And so this Taurus in the 8th house, it's about really creating stability in your life. Jupiter wants to grow this stability for you. It wants to create something that has some longevity connected to it. Mercury in the 5th house, so this could be maybe connected to some sort of passion project that you want to expand, you want to grow, you want to transform it. That's Jupiter growing it. Transforming it would be that 8th house energy. Taurus, do it practically. Like there's something here about really taking what it is that you enjoy doing, how you enjoy spending your time, and growing it, expanding it, modifying it. We'll also have Mercury sextile Neptune in Pisces, and so this is going to be that 5th house connection, and now we're bringing in your 6th house. So Neptune in Pisces is all about your goals and your dreams, and so when it comes to your 6th house, these would be your daily routines. So how does your pleasure impact your daily routine? Do you make enough time for it? Is there something here that you need to modify? Like, do you want to expand this and you want to make more time for your passion projects, which would require you to make some modifications in your daily life? And so there's something about this energy that you're looking for a way to kind of balance the two. It does require you to take some action here. This isn't something that's going to happen naturally. And then we have the new moon in Aquarius. So that's going to happen on the 9th at 5:59 p.m. Eastern time. And so here we'll have Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Pluto all in Aquarius, all sitting in your house of pleasure. And right away, it's a new moon. So the sun and the moon are going to be at the same degree point in the sky. That's what a new moon is. And so here in Aquarius, this expressing yourself, expressing your emotions, there's something very liberating about it. There's going to be something very different. It's going to be very transformative because it's that Aquarius energy. It might even be a different way of approaching, because this would be something that doesn't align with anything that you've done previously. This would be ignoring prior structures and doing it differently. So there's something here about expressing yourself. And with that 5th house, that is creativity. That is your pleasure. And so really amplifying this type of energy. Are you finding new ways of expressing yourself? Like if you're an artist, are you finding a different medium? Maybe you're always a painter and now you're going into sculpting. And so what is it that you're trying to do here? Because this new moon in Aquarius is really highlighting this. At the same time, the sun and the moon are going to be square to Uranus and Taurus. And so Uranus is another planet of shaking things up. It is about the removal of obstacles. It is the Tower in the tarot deck. And that energy sitting in Taurus, it's trying to shake things up, but it's trying to create stability at the same time, because this is also sitting in your house of transformation. And so the idea here is that what it is that you're trying to accomplish, whatever it is that you're trying to grow, is it a hobby that you're trying to grow, a passion project of some sort, whatever it is, maybe, I don't know, something with your children, whatever is happening here, the universe is trying to clear the path and do it in a way that creates the stability for you going forward. And yeah, it's going to remove any kind of blocks. So if you have been feeling unbalanced or unstable in some sort of way, imbalanced or unstable, if I could speak, that's all going to be removed. You will feel stable again. We'll also have the sun and moon trine the south node in Libra. And so what's happening here is we have the sun and the moon sitting in your house of pleasure. We have the south node sitting in your sign in Libra. We are in the eclipse, the Aries Libra eclipse, and so the south node is an eclipse point. And so south node in your first house indicates that you're really trying to balance who you are. During this entire process, you've been trying to balance who you are. The sun and moon sitting in your 5th house, you're trying to balance who you are with how you express yourself. And so it's really trying to bring everything into some sort of synergy. It's really trying to balance out and really be your authentic self is probably the best way to phrase that. We'll also have the sun and moon sextile Chiron in Aries. And so Chiron is the wounded healer. It's an asteroid. And so Aries is going to occupy your 7th house, your personal relationships, those one-to-one relationships, your significant other, marriage partner, maybe business partner. This would also be around maybe contracts, negotiations. There's something here. There's a wound here that needs to be addressed, and you're being provided an opportunity to address it. It does require action on your part, but it is being presented, and it does have a connection to your passion projects. And so is it that you've always felt stifled when it comes to your relationships? And so example would be you're married to somebody and they don't like astrology or tarot. And so you've always kind of had to do it behind closed doors, or you've always had to do it in a way that really, or not do it at all, really, and kind of be contrary to what you want, how you see yourself, what it is that you're trying to grow, and you see it as a passion project. And so you are being provided an opportunity to have the conversation with your significant other to say, this is what I enjoy doing, this is what I want to do, and now let's talk about why you don't think I should be doing this and why I think I should be. And so have that conversation. That would just be an example of it. But it's that type of energy that's coming into the mix here. It does require action on your part. This isn't something where all of a sudden your significant other is going to be okay with you doing all of this without a conversation. Then Mars enters Aquarius on the 13th. So that's going to happen at 1:05 in the morning Eastern time, so Pacific the night before. And so now we'll have Mars, Sun, and Pluto all in Aquarius, all sitting in your 5th house of pleasure. Right away, Mars is going to be conjunct Venus, but Venus is not yet in Aquarius. It's still sitting in the sign of Capricorn. And so now there's a connection between your passion projects and your home life. because that's where Venus is sitting. So Venus is sitting in Capricorn, your 4th house. So what kind of value structures do you have in place in your home life? And how does that relate to the passion projects that you're trying to go after? Because that Mars in Aquarius energy wants you to modify whatever structures don't work for you. This is that transformative energy. Mars is about action. So what actions are you trying to take in your home life in order to go after and do exactly what you enjoy doing? That's what is happening here. Mars square Jupiter in Taurus. And so what you're looking at here, again, your house of pleasure, and now Jupiter in Taurus is sitting in that house of transformation. And so what is it that you're trying to do? What is it that you want to do? Because Mars is very action oriented. Jupiter in Taurus, again, trying to create this transformation that has this long-term stability and growth opportunity connected to it. That's what is being highlighted here. And so it's about shaking free, removing any kind of barriers that prevent you from going after exactly what you want. And we also have that showing up in the next one. So Mars sextile Neptune in Pisces. And so again, we've got your 5th house of pleasure, and we have Neptune in Pisces, which is all about going after your dreams. That's sitting in your 6th house of daily routines. And so what dreams do you have? What kind of life are you trying to live on a daily basis, on a regular basis? What does that look like? What is your exercise regimen? What does your diet look like? What does your work-life balance look like? All of those things are that Neptune and Pisces energy sitting in the 6th house. And then from a pleasure standpoint, what actions are you taking in this house of pleasure? And how do they correlate to this 6th house? Because there is this need to take some sort of action. I mean, you have Mars in the mix, so the action is going to be required, but it's also a sextile. So if you're trying to get a specific type of life, you're trying to live a specific type of life, you're going to have to take some actions in this house of pleasure in order to get that type of life. And with Mars conjunct Pluto in this entire mix, so if there's something here that's not working for you, the universe is just going to remove it. That's what that Pluto in Aquarius is. This is that liberating. This is the breaking down of structures that just don't serve. There's something about it. It's like almost like it ran its course. It maybe had a purpose at a point in time. That's no longer the case. So let's remove it from your life and move forward. So that was Mars entering Aquarius on the 13th, and now we move into Venus entering Aquarius. So that's going to happen on the 16th at 8:05 in the morning. And so here we'll have Pluto, Mars, Sun, Venus, and Mercury all in your 5th house of pleasure. And so right away, Venus is semi-sextile to Sun. So they're both sitting in that house of pleasure. There is a little bit of friction between the two. And so when it comes to what you want, what you value versus how you express yourself, not completely aligned. So that's a friction point. It's not like a major problem, but it is a friction point. So just keep that in mind. We'll also have Venus trine the moon in Taurus. And so we've got your house of pleasure. Now it's trine the moon in the 8th house. And so from an emotional standpoint, what are you trying to transform? How does that relate back to your passion projects? Is it you telling yourself, okay, I am good enough to do this. Like I am good at sculpting. I am good at painting. These are the things that I want to pursue. This is what I want to do with my life. And so I'm going to make time for this, and I want to enter art shows, and I want to do all these different things with it. And so this is that energy of really giving yourself and really kind of believing in yourself is probably the best way to put it. It is about liberating you from feeling like you can't have what you want. You are enough. You are good enough for this. Venus will conjunct Mars, and so where before they were in different houses, now they're in the same house. So they're both in this 5th house. And so this is about the actions that you're taking, completely aligning with the pleasures that you're pursuing. I mean, that's Venus energy. It's all about going after what you want to do. And so there is a complete alignment here. It's a conjunction, so that energy is really intertwined. We'll also have Venus square Jupiter in Taurus. And so again, we've got this Jupiter in Taurus, so sitting in your 8th house, transformation, grow something that is going to be stable as it relates to now, not just where we had it in Mars, now we have it with Venus. So what is it that you value? What is it that you want? And then how do we expand exactly what it is that you want? And so if you think about like that art show example, so Mars would be the action of entering into it. Venus would be creating it. That's that energy. Venus sextile Neptune in Pisces is also happening at the same time. And so Venus sextile Neptune in Pisces. Neptune in Pisces is all about your dreams. That is sitting in your house of daily routines. And so what is it about your daily routine? Are you making room for this in your life? Are you making room for your passion projects? What is it here that needs to change? What is it that you need to grow? What is it you need to get rid of? Because there is still Pluto in Aquarius. And so what needs to change here? Just know that this is going to be something that you have to act upon. It's not going to happen just organically. And so when the opportunity presents itself, take it. We also have the sun entering Pisces. So that's going to happen on the 18th at 11:13 Eastern time at night. And so we'll have the sun, Saturn, and Neptune all in Pisces, all in your house of daily routines. And so right away, the sun is going to be trine the moon in Cancer. What that means is that your house of daily routines is now going to be in a harmonious aspect to the moon in Cancer. So the moon is your emotions. It's actually the ruler of Cancer. Cancer is a very water sign. It's an emotional sign. It's sitting in your 10th house. And so when you look at your daily routines as it relates to your work life, what are you trying to do? What are your goals? What do you want for yourself? Because that 6th house, that daily routine, there are dreams attached to it. So what kind of ideal life are you looking for? Is it a work-life balance? Is it you're looking for something else that also has an impact on your daily routine? Travel would be one. Do you want to travel more? Do you want to travel less? What is it that you're trying to do here? This energy, because of the moon in Cancer, it's going to be very supportive. It's really encouraging you to go after what you want. Sun conjunct Mercury in Aquarius. So now we're taking your daily routines and we are blending it with Mercury in Aquarius. And so Mercury in Aquarius is in a different sign because it's not in Pisces. So we're looking at this transformation, but maybe through innovative ideas. And that is impacting your 5th house. So whatever you're doing, out of the box thinking as it relates to your house of pleasure. And again, how does that mix with your daily life? What are you doing within your daily life that creates this opportunity for you, that allows you to pursue something that's outside of the box, does something in a different way? We'll also have the sun conjunct Saturn sitting in your 6th house. And so Saturn is about the structures that you create. What kind of plan do you have for yourself? What are your ultimate goals here? And what kind of strategy are you trying to implement in order to achieve those goals? The sun here is about that expression. So it's expressing yourself through these goals, understanding what these goals are. How does that relate to your daily routines? What are you trying to do for yourself in order to get the changes that you want to make? The sun will be semi-sextile Pluto in Aquarius. And so again, we have this 5th house, 6th house type of energy. So we have your house of pleasure and your house of daily routines. A little bit of friction here around how you want to express yourself versus the changes that are taking place. There might be something that you're holding on to a little bit too strongly here, and the universe will most likely get rid of it. If it's something that you don't need, it will get rid of it. And so it's a friction energy. It just indicates that you might be doing something that's not feasible. It's not going to be a dramatic impact at all. And then on the 23rd, we have Mercury entering Pisces. So that's going to happen at 2:39 in the morning. So in Pacific time, it's going to be right before midnight. And so we'll have Mercury, Sun, Saturn, and Neptune all in Pisces. And that's going to be sitting in your 6th house of daily routines. And right away, Mercury conjunct the Sun. When it comes to your daily routines, what is it that you want? Because that's what's being highlighted here. So that sun, like you're going after, you're trying to fulfill your dreams, you're trying to fulfill your life's purpose. This is your vitality. This is what you want. With Mercury in the mix, what are you expressing about these dreams? What is it that you want from that ideal daily life? We will have Mercury opposite the moon in Leo. And so from a daily perspective versus that moon in Leo. And so opposite the moon in Leo, Moon in Leo is actually sitting in your 11th house of community. And the moon in Leo is all about creativity. So it's about expressing yourself in a creative way. And what's happening here is you have this disconnect between a creative expression of self and how you see and how you think about your daily life. There's something at odds here. You can find a way to get through it though. It's an opposition. It's not like it's not like a complete block. You can work through that. Mercury is also going to be conjunct Saturn. So that's sitting in your 6th house again. So what structures have you put in place? What communication do you have around the structures that you've put in place surrounding your daily routines? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? Where do you see yourself long-term? Because that Saturn really does have you focused on that long-term goal. We'll also have Mercury semi-sextile Pluto in Aquarius. And so this is, again, more of that daily routine and that house of pleasure, kind of back and forth, yin yang. This is going to be a little bit of a friction point. So it's going to be, okay, this is how I see my daily routines going. This is how I'm communicating what kind of daily routine I want, versus this is how I see my pleasure pursuit going. And so there's a little bit of a friction here again, but it's a small friction. I mean, this is about what is it that you truly want? Really get clear, get Mercury clear on what it is that you really want, because that's Mercury in Pisces. And then let the universe kind of determine what needs to be removed. And then at the end of the month, we'll have the full moon in Virgo. So that's going to happen at 7:30 in the morning Eastern time. And so what this means is that the moon is going to be opposite the sun. So the moon is going to be sitting in Virgo. The sun is in Pisces. And so what we're looking at here is Virgo occupies your 12th house. This is your subconscious. These are all of your hidden secrets, everything that you internalize. Pisces is sitting in your 6th house. And so that's your daily routines. And so there is this kind of push-pull energy around these two. So Virgo is a perfectionist, very detail-oriented, an overthinker for sure. Especially when I see it in the 12th house, you're really spending a lot of time contemplating everything, all the details. But something is at odds here. And so you're trying to create a more fluid, it feels a lot like you're trying to create a more fluid daily routine where you want to modify and go after your dreams and spend less time thinking about maybe all the problems, maybe all of the challenges that you've had or the missed opportunities, because that's that Virgo type of energy. It's that Hermit card within tarot where you just do a lot of internal thinking and processing and shadow work. And so something here is at odds with you actually getting the type of life that you want. So really think about that. There's something here that does need to be released. If you think about 6 months ago, when the new moon was in Virgo, something started at that point. You're hitting a culmination point. What does that look like? What works? What doesn't work? Because what doesn't work needs to be released. That's what this full moon is about. It's about releasing any kind of energy that is holding you back, that's preventing you from going after and having the type of life that you want to live. We will have the moon opposite Mercury in Pisces. And so again, we've got more of that 6th house, 12th house type of energy. And so Mercury is sitting in that Pisces energy. And it's really about focusing here. If you take the time and you really focus on what your goals are, what kind of life do you want to live? That's going to help you understand what maybe you need to release. Is it anxiety? Is it the detail? Is it something about maybe just like holding on too tight to something? Is it that perfectionist type of energy that you need to let go of? So just kind of focus on that. There is something here that you need to emotionally release. We'll also have the moon trine Jupiter in Taurus. And so we're looking at that 12th house, that subconscious energy. And now we're looking at Jupiter in Taurus, and that's in the 8th house of transformation. And so again, you're trying to grow something here. You're trying to move into your dreams. You're trying to put yourself on a path to achieve your goals and your dreams. And there's something that you're doing internally that is preventing you from going after it. Is it self-talk? Is it that you're telling yourself you're not enough? Is it that you're overthinking and really focused on maybe all the negative aspects instead of the positive, because you're just overthinking things to a point of like, it's like analysis paralysis. Like you're just overthinking it to the point that you can't move forward. And so there's something here that you do need to release. There's something here that's preventing you from moving forward. And the universe is trying to help you understand what you can do emotionally in order to release and move forward and create the type of life that you're trying to live. How do you grow into that Jupiter in Taurus energy, that expansion, that transformation? We also have the moon opposite Saturn in Pisces. And so again, we've got a lot of that 12th house, 6th house energy. And so Saturn in Pisces, the structures that you're putting in place, there's again, something subconsciously that's holding you back from actually implementing those structures, but there's something here that you need to change. There's an emotional release that needs to occur. There's something that you've been doing subconsciously. It's almost like a self-sabotage that you don't even realize you're doing, but you're being provided an opportunity to let that go. In the days leading up to this, you're probably going to start to see and feel exactly what that is, because this Pluto in Aquarius is no joke. It's going to tell you, it's going to show you what needs to go. And so really listen to that and lean into that energy and let it go, because you're only holding yourself back. And so Libra, this is your astrology reading for the month of February. I hope this resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.